I wasn't cold with you. I was hiding from what I survived. The words landed between them without warning. She wasn't prepared to hear something like that before understanding anything else. They sat across from each other, years of distance condensed into a single sentence. What had he survived that made her grow up feeling unwanted? They hadn't planned this meeting to become anything important. It was supposed to be brief, practical, not a reunion, not a repair. Just two people who shared a history that had learned to stay quiet. She had imagined what this moment would feel like. An apology, maybe. A reason. She hadn't imagined the truth would arrive before the explanation. Growing up, his absence had never been dramatic. He was there when he needed to be. Present in form, distant in substance. Affection stopped short of becoming real. Conversations ended before they reached anything that mattered. She learned to live around that distance, not because she understood it, but because asking why had started to hurt. Once, when she was younger, she had asked him if she had done something wrong. It wasn't an accusation. It was a question said quietly in a house that never held space for questions like that. He told her she was imagining things. The distance stayed. That answer became the explanation she grew up with. Years passed with that version of him fixed in her mind. The distant father. The man who chose absence. She built her life around not needing what she had never received. Not out of resentment. Out of adaptation. Now he was sitting across from her, repeating the same sentence more slowly. I wasn't cold with you. I was hiding from what I survived. This time, he looked at her when he said it. Not because he wanted forgiveness, because hiding had finally stopped working. He didn't tell the full story at once. Only fragments. Years earlier, before she was old enough to notice what was missing, something had happened to him. Not a single moment. A sequence of things that taught him distance felt safer than presence. A past he never named, only learned to avoid. He believed silence was protection, that hiding parts of himself would keep her untouched by what he carried. What he didn't see was that silence doesn't stay contained. It spreads. It becomes absence. It becomes the shape of someone's childhood. She listened without interrupting. Not because she forgave him, but because the story she had lived with for years was being replaced by something heavier, and finally, honest. Tears came before words did. Not from new pain, from old pain finding its origin. I'm sorry, he said. Not as a solution, not as a defense, as recognition. He didn't ask her to understand. He didn't try to justify the years. He only named what had been hidden. Nothing about the past changed. The years stayed where they were. The distance didn't dissolve in one conversation, but the silence no longer felt personal. It had a shape now, not an excuse, an origin. They stayed there longer than necessary, not fixing anything, just letting the truth exist where silence had lived.